Where is it? There you go. It's not live on Facebook yet, but it's going to go live in 3, 2, 1. I didn't add all the titles. With Greg from Pilot Institute. That's weekly. And we are live. Live video starting. Okay. Should be on my page, and we'll start sharing. There it is. That's live. And we're live. There it is. Let's share. You want to share it to the commercial group?
Sure. Send me that link, too. I'll post it on my page.
It's just my Facebook. That's all it is.
So share your Facebook, huh?
Share the Facebook post to the comm group. I see a producer view. I have no idea how to add you to the producer view.
Oh, look at that. It says we're live. That is on your feed. Good stuff. So, who are you? What are you here for?
Hey, I'm Bobby. I'm just here to talk about drones. It happens to be after dark. What about you?
Good stuff. I'm Jeff. I'm Bobby O's lackey. The boy genius's lackey.
That's right. We've got audio.
You're such a fucking mess.
Oh man. Man, oh man. Cool.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good show tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe a good time?
We might screw this up from the beginning, who knows?
I don't know. It seems like it's working. Does the link work for you for producer view?
I don't know.
The producer view.
Whatever you just shared me in Slack, though, I'm sharing in on my previous post on Facebook. So,
does it allow you to get into the producer view?
Listen, you're the tech genius here. I'm your lackey. So there's that. Where's my producer view, Bobby?
The link I sent you in Slack.
The first one? No, you showed me the Facebook. That's the one I just shared, is that view. Content not available right now.
Oh, man.
Hey, man.
You can't get in. That's weird.
That's
I don't know how to
I
add
just
you
shared to my Facebook
producer.
page, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, no, you got to share the link on my Facebook.
All right. Well, let's try this again.
Technology.
Hey, we'll figure this shit out sooner or later.
Okay, share. You want to give it a go? Share the Facebook post to this Facebook live video to the group, CommUAV.
You can take care of that. I'm trying to share it to my feed real quick.
Okay. Share to.
Let's see. Here we go. Now we're playing with fireworks and drones. All right, so sorry for the technical difficulties, but let's get right into it. So there's 2 rules. 1, anybody on the show has to be consuming some sort of alcoholic beverage. So, Bobby, what do you got?
I have some Topo Chico.
Topo Chico. So I went high-end last week, right? And I had a bottle laying around the house, and I'm already catching flack for it. Before we ever went on air, people are giving me shit about what I'm drinking. But I figured if we're going to get in trouble tonight, larceny would be appropriate. So,
all right.
So there's that. I've got some bourbon, got some larceny. And rule number 2. What's rule number 2, Bobby?
Rule number 2, we got to curse. It's got to be some F-bombs getting dropped.
Uh-oh. We'll wait a couple drinks. Unless I already released one, I don't know. Not keeping track.
Yeah.
Notice I'm sporting a different hat today. Shout out to Randall.
Shout out to Randall.
Hell yeah. Randall's the man.
I was talking to him today, and I invited him to the pod, but unfortunately, he's playing basketball right now. Too important for us.
He is far too busy for us. Far too busy. Once you hit Randall status, that's my goal in life. I want to be Bobby O's lackey, but at Randall Werner status.
There it is.
So that means you need to up it up. But yeah, Randall,
I know.
good dude. I'm still waiting for him to send me that new Teledyne drone, though. Randall, where's it at? Middle of October is come and gone, brother. That's okay. I won't harass him too much.
Yeah, they're busy. They're busy making good products.
Oh, dude, they're unreal. All right, you got to stop with the pick, dude. All I hear is
you gotta
click, 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 click.
You gotta turn off your camera and turn it back on. There's like a 5-second delay on your video.
Really? Now? Really?
Do you turn it back off and back on? Let's see.
Any luck? I'm off and on again. That's all right. People don't need to see my beautiful face. As long as they can hear me, we're good.
Rough, man. Maybe leave the studio and join back in again.
Shit, I just got here and you're kicking me out already.
I know,
right.
but the latency is like crazy bad.
Bye, Felicia.
Guess it's just me and the viewers. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I was talking to Randall today, and they're doing some really cool stuff with the Cyrus
Who's
at
that?
Teledyne FLIR.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Dude, it's FLIR. Let's be honest. They got up their game a little bit, though. Best thermal cameras on the planet. Bar none. I want to see something from them camera-wise that no one else has done. And they can do it. Bobby Sakaki posted something about that the other day. Like, the camera game, especially the thermal side, is Teledyne's for the taking. They just have to step up and take it.
But they do have really nice cameras.
Oh, their
just
cameras
not
are
on
legit.
drones. They're not on drones. That's the only thing.
There you go. That's just it. I mean, they're on drones, like Inspires and 210s, but not on Teledyne drones. And that's what we're all waiting for, is them to get stupid with a thermal camera. Throw some 1280 shit out there. Just throw a 1280 camera on a drone and send it. No one will even care if the drone flies. If it's got 1280 thermal on there, people will buy it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt,
Absolutely.
people will buy it.
I've never actually seen one before, like in real life.
What, 1280?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stupid resolution. So we were on a manhunt flying the Dragonfish at 1,000 feet AGL. We had a waiver for all the Karens out there. But we had an SGI to fly at 1,000 feet. At 1,000 feet, the Dragonfish, 640 thermal, you could easily find people. We thought we saw a dude laying... My wife's coming to steal my bourbon again. But we thought we saw a dude laying in the back of a truck, like laying out, I mean, easily from 1,000 feet. You throw 1280 thermal on there, and it is an entire... Oh, talk about, like, there she is. I see her butt. Oh. You're good.
The weekly Laura guest appearance.
She's going to be famous. But no, so in all seriousness, 1280 thermal, you could, if you want to hunt freaking field mice from 1,000 feet, you can. Game changing.
Yeah.
Absolutely game changing.
Yeah, I bet. So what happened with that manhunt?
Oh, man. So we ended up catching the fucker. So he shot his wife and some other stuff in just south of us and ended up fleeing up here. Actually shot a cop, which is a horrible idea. So it was no holds bars. They released every asset we had here in Tennessee. And, yeah, absolutely caught him. I'm sure he's probably locked up right now. But that Dragonfish, I'm telling you, the Dragonfish alone was game-changing. And I know the Dragonfish Pro, they have a 1280 sensor for the Pro. I see a kitty in your background. But anyways, they have a 1280 thermal on the Dragonfish Pro. Yeah, it just snuck behind your couch. But yeah, but the thing with the Dragonfish Pro, I mean, you've seen the size of the case for that thing, right? It's bigger than I've got an office-sized desk. It's bigger than my desk. Just the case, like way bigger. It won't even fit in the back of a pickup truck. So they might have it. Do they have it on a smaller drone now? Somebody's got to know. But get 1280 thermal on a quad. Get it on something smaller that people can just send it.
I think it would go like next year or two. I mean, drone technology's come a long way.
It has come so far. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, so stuff like 1280 thermal, game changing. DJI has that H20N, their night vision camera. Another one. That's freaking brilliant. Why has no one else done it? I mean, FLIR has the camera market. Teledyne, Bobby Sakaki was dead on point when he said FLIR could easily take it. They could own the drone industry because they have the crazy optics and payloads to do it. Why haven't we seen it, Teledyne? Why?
I think it's more focused on the defense side then. More money on defense, bigger budgets, and also bigger aircrafts to cool it. It's less of a challenge, I imagine, if you have way more area to cool the sensor, way more batteries to power it as well.
For sure.
Compared to something that you're trying to max out by optimizing for size, speed, battery life, and also resolution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, wait, before we get too far into this, I mean, we are pounding bourbon and having drinks and stuff. Now, I know Bobby told everybody out there we were never going to monetize this stream and it would be a free blah, 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 blah. So, I am starting a GoFundMe page. So, my boss is an asshole. If I get fired for something that I say...
What is going on?
So anyways, if I get fired for something I say on this show because of whatever we may get into, I have 4 kids, so throw some dough at that GoFundMe. And, you know, depending on how deep we dive here, might be a little safety net for me. Appreciate it. Thank y'all. So anyways, talking about thermal and Teledyne and sensors and the tech, it's freaking mind-blowing. Some of the tech that's out there that we just got to get, you know. And I take back that asshole comment. I actually love my boss.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Love you too. Chris Jenseth. What's up, Chris? Shout out to Chris. He says, which FLIR model is 1280?
You got to go on their website. There's nothing on a drone. I know I've seen some 1280s. It might not even be FLIR. I know there's 1280s out there, and let's be honest, FLIR has the budget and the resources if there's not one to make one. But yeah, I'm almost positive I saw a 1280 FLIR. Let's Google it. Worth a Google.
Do it.
1280 FLIR. Here we go. So there's some handhelds apparently. The FLIR ISC 1308. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. FLIR X840-8400SC, I don't know, so there's a bunch of different FLIR sensors out there that are 1280. Nothing on a drone, though. That's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, FLIR's got it. They've got a ton of them. Now, I don't have one in hand. Maybe they're too big for a drone. I don't know. But, like, let's see. Orlando, AVUSI, there's 1280 on display there. It wasn't FLIR, but the camera itself was definitely small enough for a drone. Teledyne, put 1280 on a drone.
I mean, if the camera... I don't know if FLIR has 4K thermal cameras, but if they do... What if we just had only a thermal camera on the drone? I imagine it's too big right now, but what if we only had like a super high res 4K thermal camera?
It is so hard to fly just watching thermal, at least close quarters. Like you'd never be able to put one on a lemur or on a... We've tried putting 640. Now, the handhelds firefighters use, they're not even 640, but we can go into houses with them and look at stuff. But trying to fly with a 640 thermal inside, which would be amazing, but you can't do it. The 30 hertz and the lag and the refresh and all the other stuff bumping into walls, it's it's not there. But maybe if there was 1280 that could get on something smaller, you'd actually have some sort of depth. But flying without that depth perception, flying with a thermal camera, it's fine if you're 600 feet in the air, not going to hit anything. But trying to fly in around anything, it's tough. It's real tough.
Yeah, I don't think thermal cameras are particularly suitable for interior flights. I think just stripping that IR sensor, is it the IR sensor or the UV sensor? I think that's what it is. Stripping that so that the filter is taken off and you can basically see in the dark.
Oh, you're talking the IR filter. Yeah. So shout out to Jake Mackey. Adorama actually takes a DJI FPV. I have one there. There it is. But they take the DJI FPV and they strip the IR filter out of it. So flying outside, everything looks freaking pink, which is the whole reason that IR filter's in there, to make stuff look right. But the fact of the matter is, in low light, or even throw some IR beacons on that thing, and you can fly interior blacked out.
Yeah.
Blacked out.
I think I saw the FPV video, and there's some noise in the video.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
maybe it's just dust from the house that it was flying in. I don't know, either or. But it still looks really good. You can basically see in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. It's going to kick into high ISO. Like, there's nothing you're going to do about that. It's not an IR camera. But like your cell phone, if you ever need to check the batteries in a remote controller at your house, take your cell phone camera out and look at the remote and push the button. You'll see the little purple, you'll see it. You'll see the IR light with your cell phone camera. Drones, they just take and filter most of that stuff out. But someone was brilliant enough, Adorama, to take that IR filter out of the DJI FPV, and now it's basically a night vision camera. Obviously, it's not like H20N type night vision, but with some IR beacons and stuff like that, absolutely, you can see in the dark.
I wonder if the H20N, the Starlight technology that DJI has, if it's just like a filter that automatically, it's like a mechanical filter that just moves out of the way. So it has the IR filter, right? And then when you toggle the Starlight feature, it just moves it out of the way, and you're basically seeing it without a filter.
So my understanding is that it's very similar to how security cameras that have IR in them, it uses software to filter it out. Just like the Z30. There's a Z30 on the back of that or on the bottom of that 210 right there. So the Z30 was the first camera that DJI had that had IR cut. If you're looking into something that's freaking dark, you click a toggle in DJI's app and it puts IR cut. It actually lets you see the IR stuff that was actually filtered out through software. Because there is no physical IR filter in the Z30. Still not really night vision, but does a hell of a lot better than like something that filters it out completely, like the DJI FPV. Without removing that sensor, it doesn't matter what you do with software. It's not going to pick up that whole IR spectrum. But the H20N, I believe, can software filter some of that IR stuff. But yeah, it looks like freaking night vision goggles. I mean, legitimate night vision on a drone.
That's really cool. It just makes flying drones at night so much easier. And
yep.
I mean, it's a filter, right? If we just continuously use that software to improve the quality of the camera, and if camera video transmission gets better and better, because currently it's probably 1080p, that's the best that you can see on your remote controller. If that transmission can go up to 4K, then essentially you're able to see better than any commercial FLIR camera out there. You don't even need a thermal sensor altogether. You could just use that IR software filter.
Yep. Technology.
Yeah. Technology.
I'll tell you, and this isn't just because I work for a software company, but I believe the software side of stuff is what's going to revolutionize everything. The hardware, like the way a camera works, a lot of it's still the same. Now, the sensors and the actual pixel size and pixel density, but the software is the stuff that's made like pixel shift technology. They take a 12 megapixel sensor and make it 48 megapixels. Anybody that thinks their Samsung camera actually has a 100 megapixel sensor in it is freaking dreaming. But with the software, pixel shift technology, all that kind of stuff, it's changing the game. Don't get me wrong, hardware is definitely getting better too, but software changing the game.
Yeah. I think in the next 5-10 years, all drones are going to reach that feature parity where they're all going to be able to carry some payloads, have long battery lives, like hour and a half battery lives, fly really quickly, be portable enough to assemble within 30 seconds or so, and have great zoom, 200x zoom, and a really nice thermal sensor on top of that. So that's like the future of enterprise drones. And then where do you go from there? I mean, you could provide better software support, I guess, better hardware support, customer service, onboarding. What about software?
The other big thing, and that software is what's going to make the use cases change. And use cases changing is what's going to develop. It's all goes full circle. But speaking of software, last podcast I talked about something that I saw on LinkedIn where they actually had a drone swarm recreate a 100-year-old church. So I did a little research. I actually found what I saw on Instagram. I'm going to share that real quick. But talking about not only the hardware, but the software, because I think, honestly, the software has a lot more to do with what they're able to do here. But 100-year-old church, every dot there's a drone. Mind blowing.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. So digging a little deeper, I don't know if that's who this is from, but there's a Dutch collective called Drift. So the company's name is Drift, and they're using drones to recreate all sorts of stuff. So I pulled up a couple of them, but these are all from Drift. Like, this is something being built, and they finished it with drones. Like, seriously, absolutely insane. The Coliseum, they did a project with the Coliseum. Tell me that's not freaking mind-blowing. I wish we got to get in touch with Drift so we can 3D model that. Like, let them sit there and hover, and we'll do some real software stuff. Like, just kidding. That's pretty impressive. And then there's another one, too, the high-rise. Like, oh, what would a building look like if it was there? Ta-da!
That's nuts. What city is that?
Crazy. I don't even know.
Huh.
No idea.
Looks
Sure,
like a Chinese city. Shenzhen?
Could be.
I don't know.
Let's be honest, we don't have the technology to do that. They
True.
got all the cool stuff, so probably. But no, in all seriousness, software. I'm sure the hardware there is, but let's be honest, that's probably a bare bones drone with an LED and crazy, crazy software.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the future drones. We'll see.
Let's be honest. If we had that software, what would we make in the sky? It wouldn't be buildings.
Oh man, we would abuse it so bad it'd get banned.
Dude, I'd be putting. Oh yeah, I can't even get into it. That's one of those things that I'm starting that GoFundMe page for because I can't even talk about it.
Is it illegal? Is it illegal?
Well, for one, you'd have to get the waiver. So to fly multiple drones at the same time, I think it'd be kind of hard to justify putting a giant penis over my neighbor's house. And we'll get into that in a second. Had another run-in with him today.
It's got to be ejaculating as well.
How do you justify that to the FAA?
Okay, let's actually circumvent the red tape by hiring 300 drone pilots to each fly one of those drones.
All right, so let's talk about my neighbor real quick, and I'm sure we can spool up 300 pilots that would be willing to just come have a fly-in just to fuck with my neighbor.
Oh, man.
So,
man.
We work software, right? Well, what do you do when you make new software? You test the shit. So I'm out there flying M30, flying a grid, literally over my backyard. Back, forth. And I hear my Yahoo neighbor, I was talking about him last week, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Whose fucking drone is that?" And he already knows exactly whose drone it is. Please, he's called the cops on me like 18 times now. We have a long history. It's not like I'm not buzzing his pool. I'm not over. No, that dude is a crackhead that has severe paranoia. And yeah, he was screaming at the drone. I don't know what he thought he was going to get out of it, but screaming at the drone. I thought for sure cops were going to show up, but they're so tired of showing up over him that they don't anymore. But yeah, penises over his house would be game changing. Oh man, yeah. I need to get that speaker from Aaron, the big one, the rave one. Between that,
you didn't get
and the drone light shows.
It's been a week.
No, that's me being overworked by my freaking boss. I haven't even been able to email him to get one. But no, in all seriousness, he did say he would ship it, so there's that. But I haven't had much time to fly anyway, so it's cool. And our M300 is down in Florida, so even if I had it, I wouldn't be able to fly it. Because shout out to Russell Bradshaw, down there doing good things in this rainstorm that they've got down there that he keeps calling a hurricane. But, no, in all seriousness, Hurricane Nicole, the man deals with Hurricane Nicole on a daily basis. You can ask him about that. But he is down there right now in a rainstorm.
Oh, man.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Hilarious.
So, no,
Holy
but
shit.
he was actually down there doing good for the last hurricane.
Yeah.
Mapping out, like, an entire... Pine Island was wiped off the face of the earth. And drones did a lot of good there. A lot of good. Mapping places out and search and rescue and, tons of good.
Yeah. Yeah,
this
lots of 3D models.
Oh, tons of 3D
Shout
models.
out to Skybrows.
Who the fuck is that?
No.
I've never met that person.
No clue.
But no, so drones doing good down in hurricanes. Who would have thunk it, right? What was it? Michael was one of the first big ones that drones were flying. And there's still agencies pushing back, but I digress. Where's Greg at?
It's just coordination. I want to ask Greg about all the regulations against putting penis drones over your neighbor's house.
I want to know who's going to file the waiver for me so I can do exactly that.
I mean, it could just be a marketing stunt, just get 300 107 pilots to just hang out. And
so picture this.
Press one button.
He was out there screaming, "Whose drone is that?" I picture him in his backyard screaming, "Whose penis is that?" I mean, just top of his lungs.
Oh man!
It's
got to be like one of those like rainbow pulsating colors.
We went off the deep end already, and we're not even 30 minutes in.
I've got half a drink. I've got half a drink in me.
I started before we ever got on. Gotta prime the pump. But
yeah.
Shout out to Adrian Doko. He's the man. Zach Harpence. He's another man. What is that? Radar team. What is that? Radar team.se. Thoughts on that? I don't know. I'll look at it.
What is that? I see a video
real-time sampling. That is some good penetration.
Oh my god, it's a helicopter. Dude, it's a fucking dildo attached to the Phantom 3 Pro.
No.
What is going on?
He must have sent you completely different, because...
Phantom 3 Advanced. What is going on?
Who sent you that? No, I've actually got something legit here that someone wants to know about, what my thoughts are. I've honestly never looked into it. I'm going to get back to sharing my screen, and I'll pull this up, because I'm going to look into it. This is kind of badass. Hold on. Let's get back to the legit stuff, where we're actually talking about real drone stuff, not penises anymore. Granted, it does say plug and does say penetration, so there's that. But 120-meter penetration, talking about actually like real-time sampling, I'm assuming soil penetration, depth penetration, whether it be avalanches or high penetration real-time sampling, GPR. Air
How many times are you going to say penetration?
Penetration?
Oh,
that's a good word. No, I'm definitely curious about it. I mean, this is like the heartbeat sensor. Like, this is something I've never seen. You don't know if this is vaporware or if it's legit going to be helpful to someone.
Mm-hmm.
That's like LifeSeeker. Yeah. I've talked about LifeSeeker 1,000 times. First time I heard about LifeSeeker, the LifeSeeker finds cell phones. And you can filter stuff out and so on and so forth. And you need warrants and whatever else. It's not like anybody can buy a LifeSeeker. But anyways, it finds cell phones, even in cellular where there's no cell coverage. So we get a missing person in a state park, fly it, send it, and we can find a cell phone. The first time I heard about it, I'm like, there's no fucking way that thing is real. There's no way you can find a cell phone within like 3 feet just flying a robot over it. There's no way. Come to find out, we actually start using it, and that's exactly what it does. But this is another one, the Cobra ground penetrating radar.
Wow.
I honestly don't know yet, Chris, but I'm going to look into it, and maybe that'll be on our next podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of penetration, welcome to our weekly UAS news update. Today, we'll be talking about Lego penetration.
Lego World.
No
Lego
shit.
World.
Greg, I love you every time I see you. Let me stop sharing this screen real quick.
Okay, hold on.
So,
Gotta figure this
in all
out.
seriousness, I love you even more every time I run into you. So I haven't seen your Lego collection, but we've definitely talked about it.
Oh, hold on.
You
Sorry,
can't
guys.
hear all of us.
Earth to Greg. Earth to
Stand
Greg.
by.
Oh
Headphones.
man, where's the Pilot Institute? Where's the
it's
Pixel
his-
Drone Show studio?
It's his first
Oh,
time
man.
being on a podcast.
I know, it's crazy. He's never been on camera before. He's a
Freaking
little
noob.
shy, a little nervous.
Freaking
Just,
new. It's okay.
Trying to get all the technology to work. It sometimes happens. It happens to the best of us. What can you do?
Do we have endorsements set up? Do we need to pay him for him wearing that Pilot Institute hat on the show?
We got the audio.
It's brand new.
Little
I can
everything
hear you
going
here,
on.
but
Oh yeah. Oh, it's repeating as well. I know.
Wow. All right,
Oh,
you
man.
can cut that out whenever.
Get her done. All right.
You don't need headphones. Throw
All right.
some speakers on. Listen,
I know, but
your voice is
I'll
so
explain in a
charming.
second.
If
I'm
we
gonna-
hear it
I'm-
twice,
I'm going to leave and I'm going to be right back because Riverside is being funky.
all right.
For reference to our lovely viewers, Greg uses Riverside for his podcasting. That's why I got Riverside. He recommended it. Oh man.
Listen, it's
Oh,
probably his
man.
first time being a guest. He's used to hosting.
I mean, he's
But,
got his own lackeys all doing all the production
No
stuff
shit.
in the background.
Oh, those guys
making
are-
it all work
Those
out.
guys are unbelievable. They really are.
Yeah.
The amount of work that goes on in that studio.
Yeah. Shout out to Ethan, to Don, other Pilot Institute friends.
Jason. Don't forget
Oh, Jason. Can't forget Jason.
Dude.
I'm just thinking about Don and his shaved beard. It's crazy, man. Seeing him without his beard, it's just, he's a different person altogether.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh, man.
these headphones are amazing, but when I talk, they stop doing the noise cancellation, which also means they stop any music coming in, which means that every time I talk, you guys get muted, and then it takes about 5 seconds to go back to noise cancellation. And the only way to change that is using the app, and I don't have my phone right now with me, so I have to bypass the headphones. I know it's boring, but
Hey,
technology.
Greg. I forgive you.
We love you,
Oh,
Greg.
thank you.
So, Greg, what are you drinking?
What you drinking, man?
I am
What you got?
drinking 12-year-old Eldorado rum.
Oh,
Oh, ouais. Levine.
good stuff.
Levine. Très bien.
And I
Good stuff.
figured I would have my Legos in the background. So Jeff,
Yeah,
could,
fuck drones.
pick
Let's talk about Lego. So when are you going to
Oh, I'm
start a Lego Institute?
dude, that would be. You know, when I was
Hey,
a kid, that's what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to design Legos and work for Lego.
That's all my kids.
Yeah,
All of them.
yeah. Actually, I found some of these in the back right here are old Legos that I brought back from my parents. So this one right here is an old one. This is an old one from when I was a kid. I just brought them back this summer. I went back to France and brought back 30 pounds of Legos.
Dang. What are French Legos like?
Have you checked
Same
out
way.
your Lego store? So I know last time we talked about Lego, you were still waiting to get the DeLorean. Have you found it
it
yet?
wasn't-
Because
I went to Vegas. They didn't have it, and then I don't think they have it here in Phoenix. I don't go
So
to the
I-
Phoenix one very often.
I just checked the Opry Mills store and this is relevant because it is a fucking flying car, right? So
Yes.
the DeLorean is in stock in the Opry Mills Lego store, and I'm happy to go there and pick one up for you.
Well, that would be amazing.
Consider it done. Consider it done, my friend.
For the next Skybrowse Pilot Institute course, we'll drop it off.
That's right. You're gonna have to come back now, Jeff.
That's fine. I'm in. Absolutely, anytime. So now I do
Nice.
have questions, Greg.
I may
Say
have
I wanted to do something like have a drone light show of a giant penis over my neighbor's house. What would it take to get the waivers to do that?
Well, it's operating more than one UAS per pilot. That's one. And then I think that might be the only waiver that you need.
So what does it take to get one? Do you know? I mean, you know people.
Just in that, I don't know people. Well, I mean, I do know the guy that's at the approval level for the waivers, but he's not. He won't. It's not because I know him that he's going to get waivers approved more easily than anybody else.
Yeah, you can't even grease palms at the FAA to get waivers.
No, I think that's the way it should be anyway. But I don't think it would be a difficult one to get as long as you have. Well, you know how it works. You've submitted enough. You've submitted enough waivers. You just need to tell them how you're going to do this safely, and then they'll give you a waiver.
Yeah, but how do you explain that to someone? How do you explain?
Like it's a
I want to have
rainbow
1,000
ejaculating
drones.
penis.
Well, yeah, well, don't mention the penis part. I think you'll be fine. Well, you know, it's like every other waiver. It's they have a PDF that you need to look into. They'll tell you the questions that you need to answer, and then they'll give you the waiver if you meet those requirements.
I get a strong feeling they're not going to let me fly 1,000 drones over my neighbor's house.
What about flight over people? What if they walk underneath it?
You know, there's a good person you can talk to about this. It's Casey from the drone group. Casey?
Shout out to Casey from the drone group.
Yeah, Casey. That's what he does. He'll give you the answer.
That's awesome.
So it could be anything. It could be anything lewd, anything inappropriate, whatever it might be. The drones are just making all sorts of middle fingers and penises.
I can tell you it would not be
all
butterflies over my neighbor's house.
I don't think the FAA cares about what you do with the drone, quite frankly.
They just care about safety. We're not hurting anyone. We're not killing anyone. It's
Just like they don't care what kind of
Safe.
pictures you take with your drone. You can see the gears going in Jeff's head
Gears
right
are
now.
going. Gears are going. I'm going to need to pour another Daddy's sippy cup of
You
some
could
larceny
trim,
over
you
here.
could trim your bushes like some people do in like the shape of a middle finger, or people have done that to their neighbors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the problem is my kids. See, I would do the drone light show while they were asleep. I don't want them to see the penises over my neighbor's house, but the bushes, if I was to do that in the front yard, my wife might have a problem with that.
You could also try to be nice to your neighbor.
Oh, no, dude.
Ooh.
Ah.
Ooh. I'm stepping out of this one.
Oh man! So my last encounter with my neighbor. So he comes into my yard, mind you. It is the biggest lot in the neighborhood, big open backyard. But he's out there with my dog, and my kids are sleeping, and his dog's going batshit crazy, barking and everything else. So I'm out there. I'm like, "Hey, dude, can you do me a favor? Like, go find somewhere else to play." And he's like, "No." Playing with his dog in my backyard. I'm like, "No, seriously, like." Off of my property, and he's like, no. So we had a big discussion, whole lot of F-bombs thrown, and he was not leaving my property at all. He literally told me if I wanted him not to come on my property, I would have to put a fence up, because as long as it was open, he was coming.
That's not how it works.
No, not at all. And this is the same guy that's called the cops on me every time I've flown. Same guy that was yelling at me for flying today. But
That sucks.
Yeah.
I have a funny
Penises
story
over his
about-
house is a solution.
I have a funny story about a neighbor. So this office in which I am right now used to be where I recorded all the videos for Pilot Institute, and that's in my house. And my neighbor is across the street, across the fence right here, and he had this leaf blower that, well, it's a leaf blower as you can imagine, not fun. And And of course, every time I needed to record, he didn't do it on purpose. I don't think it was his fault, and I don't want to be the guy that says, well, you can't, please don't use your leaf blower, because I don't believe in that. So one day I was just so sick of it. I went on Amazon and I found the quietest leaf blower. It cost me $200. I bought it and I gave it to him. And I liked the guy otherwise, and he didn't know because I never told him that he was being noisy, and I'm sure he knew, but he didn't down on him. He was an older guy. So I gave him a brand new leaf blower, and I said, hey, I hear your leaf blower. I think it's on the way out, so here's a nice one. I know the other one is heavy, and this thing is amazing. And guess what? Ever since, I've never heard it. I know he uses it, but that thing is so quiet that I've never used a leaf blower. Never heard it.
Man,
Greg,
you are
you've
so
got more
polite in
class.
French. Wow.
No shit. You and Adrian Doko have more class between the two of you than, like, all of our country together.
Yeah, but I mean, what am I going to do? Go tell the guy not to use his leaf blower? No, not
My
really.
neighbor tells me not to use my drones, so there's that.
Yeah, well,
I wish he would just buy me a quieter drone, but no.
I'll get you one of those blue ones.
That's fine. You know what?
All right.
I want to play with one, as long as it's not near windows or water or at night or anything else. It'd be fine.
Or any sort of structures that I might accidentally fly into.
We're not getting in any trouble tonight. Not at all.
Nope.
No.
None.
None.
Greg, did you hear the disclaimer at the beginning? It's actually a couple minutes
negative.
in.
I was putting the kids down.
Putting them down? Dude, you shouldn't announce that public. Oh, putting them to sleep. Okay. But anyway.
Every single night. Happens every single night.
So a couple minutes into the show, I explained to everybody that Bobby has always said we were never going to monetize the show. But I have started a GoFundMe, so when I get fired because of something I say on this show, I'll have a nest egg for my kids. So
$5, all of it.
Just throwing that out there. If anybody wants to donate to that GoFundMe, it might help me out when we start talking about blue drones and whatever else we're not supposed to talk about.
Nope.
Yeah.
We
stuff
will
that no one else
continuously
is talking
secure
about.
large contracts with the stuff that we're talking about right now. And this will not be on any of our company social medias either.
No.
So it's all good. We're just hanging out. We're just
I have no idea what you're
drone
talking
nerds.
about.
Yeah. We're just
I
hanging
just
out.
want a drone that's really good at following me on a one wheel.
I think I know a company that does that.
Yeah, they make a blue
I think they're
drone
like
too.
valued at $1 billion or something. It's pretty good.
Somehow, politicians
So-
in the pocket.
Speaking of one wheel, we did something fun today. We and Jeff,
Oh,
you know
Greg,
some
I've
of it.
talked to you a lot. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
I've been telling you about that. So we got a remote control car, which I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. Just never took the time to do it. And we built a Z-axis stabilization for the Ronin. So we have a giant 110 scale remote control car with a Ronin hanging underneath it. And we were chasing Ethan on the one wheel this afternoon in the grass, and it was a blast.
Yes.
Damn.
We got too much time. on our hands.
FPV, right? So I know you got the Ronin on there, but you're driving FPV. I still
and
haven't
we
found the
have-
specs for you.
Yeah, we have the FPV, and then also we have the DJI transmission system, so we can actually control the Ronin as a second operator as somebody else is flying or driving the car. So it's an Inspire 2 on wheels essentially, with a Ronin and a full frame camera underneath it. So
Yes.
Hey, question for you guys, since I don't actually own a Nevada just yet. I just placed the order last night, but I will get a Nevada pretty soon. Does the Nevada have like a follow me function, just so that it like follows you around?
No,
nope,
it's not a Skydio, Bobby. You
Dang
can
it.
actually fly it indoors.
it's right
Aw,
here.
man.
You follow me is right
'Cause
here.
This is something that I've wanted to do for like 5 years now, and for some reason I just never got around to it until now, where I want to put on FPV goggles, like VR headset, essentially, and watch myself interact and like do stuff in the real world in third person. I know there's videos of it like on YouTube and stuff where someone will put like a big pole attached to
Yeah.
a 360 camera on like their back and like walk around and do stuff. But I want like a drone to follow me around. I want to be like third person GTA 5 kind of just like walk around town and stuff.
I was gonna
Hang
say
out.
GTA 5. You should get Jeff to pay. You should pay Jeff to follow you.
So,
Oh damn!
funny story about all of that. We were in a company meeting one day, and I don't remember who it was, but someone put on their thinking cap. Don't know what anyone was thinking, but the helmet started coming out of the woodwork. So I got my SAR helmet out with my Avada goggles and set my Avada on top of my head. See, there's Bobby's thinking cap right there. When he's got the bandana on, you know he's thinking. But I was thinking an Avada mount on the top of my SAR helmet that I could push a button and it just takes off and then comes back and lands back on my helmet. And I'd never have to take the goggles off. Just walk around. I've got full 1080 per eye. You know, you can see where you're going. Probably
Yeah.
a better field of view than you would normally have with normal vision. 155-degree field of view. Like, you can see some shit.
See a lot here. I actually have a picture of it right here.
Oh, here we
Of us
go.
Just
All of us with our
look at
thinking
us.
caps.
So, all these pretty people.
Oh, yeah, there we
There
go.
it is. Nice helmet over there.
That
Good
is.
stuff.
You guys.
Just thinking
So
hard.
that was straight out of the asylum. Is that what it was?
Where do you think he hires
Yeah.
everybody he hires?
This is how we get work done. Here.
Like, the first thing on the application is, are you legitimately batshit crazy? Yes or no?
Check.
And that determines, are you hireable? Yes or no? It's kind of like a firefighter application. If you're not ADHD, don't even bother putting an application to the fire department. No. Everybody that works for the fire department, ADHD to the core. I've been there. Telling you, for sure. That is a checkbox to be a firefighter. So let's talk some more drone stuff. Greg, what do you think is the most innovative product you've seen? I mean, it's November. We're coming towards the end of the year. So far this year, it doesn't have to be a whole drone. It could be a sensor. It could be anything. Most innovative product you've seen.
That's interesting.
He's thinking hard.
Well, because I have to admit I haven't really been super impressed with. I mean, I've been impressed, but not to the point where I'm like, okay, there is something that really stands out. You know what? Can I say something not drone related, but it's still
Yeah,
somewhat to the
absolutely.
industry?
Hell yeah.
I think the Cinema 4D, not Cinema 4D, the Ronin 4D, I think was thinking outside the box from DJI, and you know, a camera that has the Z-axis stabilization, that has the follow focus. You know, the biggest thing when you start looking into cinematography is the focusing is difficult to do in action shots, and I think they've taken that to an extent where it's going to be in another couple of years. You will be able to rely on autofocus to film movies, which, you know, has never really been the case. So I think this was a really cool product that was completely outside the box. You haven't seen anything like it from any other manufacturer before. But, you know, as far as drones, think about what are we getting? Are we getting more battery time, which is cool? We're getting bigger sensors. Is it groundbreaking? No, not really. Is it cool? Is it useful? Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, you look at Autel, their large drone. That's outside the box. But yeah, other than that, it's just been the same kind of formula, just changing a couple things on the drone and then releasing it. So yeah, the Mavic 3 was cool with the Cine lens and the 2 lens in one. That was kind of a new feature. But yeah, past that, I haven't really seen anyone really innovating all that much.
So do you guys have the Ronin 4D?
No, I thought about it as a gear geek. I want to buy one, but then I'm like, what am I going to do with it? We film a lot in studios. We don't do a lot of outdoor stuff. I mean, I'd love the tech, but it's not cheap, and I could buy other things.
The
with money.
man with the most toys wins, Greg. The man with the most
know.
toys wins.
You've seen our office. There is quite a few.
I
toys in
know.
there.
Yeah. I guarantee you,
no.
Ethan would find something to do with it, or Jason, somebody, they will find something to do with it.
Yep. Yeah, but we've been pretty slammed with growth this year, and it's been I bought quite a bit of gear for the studio, and I think I got the gist from even Ethan. He said, let me learn all the gear that we have right now, and then we can think about buying more. But we've been pretty slammed trying to hire enough people to basically do everything that we have to do. I think we're at that stage now where we can slow down and breathe a little bit, but there was not a whole lot of time to learn how to do new gears, to do new things. We're starting to be more creative on our YouTube videos, which is something that we never really had a chance to do before. We're just trying to get content, and then now we're starting to rethink some of it. So it's exciting.
So I've got two questions for you. You said you now have time to slow down and breathe. First question is, what's that like? And second question is, are you hiring? Because I don't know what that's like.
Oh man, you sound like an
my
awful
guys
person.
do, because I don't want them to be going 24/7 all the time. I do, because that's the way I operate. But I do want them to have time where they can sit down and practice using the gear, where they can sit down and practice, using new drones, even just flying the drones. We get drones from DJI, we get drones from people to test. Typically, because of the amount of work that it takes to make a video, which people don't realize when you do a testing video, if you do it right, it takes a lot of hours to do it. And my hats to the people like Ken and Billy and the people that have their one-man team that have to do this plus their job.
Oh, it's
I don't
crazy.
know how they do it, because we have a team of 5 or 6, and I can see as soon as we get the drone, Jason gets in gear. He has a little checklist of things to do. We run it through the test, and then he starts to write all the documentation. And then Ethan gets a hold of it to do the B-roll, and then it's just like a whole production to get these things. And we have checklists now. When we get a brand new drone, here's all the things that we have to do. Get B-roll before you crash it. Before we even go and fly it, we get B-roll so that we have clean B-roll. And if you put it in a tree, then we're good. We have it covered. But just little things like this take an immense amount of time. DJI just sent us the Classic, and we have an idea for a cool video that we're going to do. And then it snowed, and then all of a sudden we have winds like freaking hurricane up here in Arizona, and all of a sudden we're grounded for a week. We can't go outside. But we have this cool idea of things that we want to do with it. But again, that takes a ton of time to get these videos done, on top of producing courses, which is our main business, right?
Yeah, it's all trial by fire. A lot of this is figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and then using that to improve future procedures and policies. We're in the same exact phase where, look, we got to support like 30 different drones now, and there's a lot of manufacturers reaching out to us to support these drones, and we don't want to release bad product. So we're learning through a lot of testing to make our product better, and also to support even more drones at the pace that people want us to. It's tough for sure.
It's 100 miles an hour, and yeah, talking about the content, people don't realize what it goes in. Like Pilot Institute, I don't think I realized what went into making that content until I was actually there making some of that content. It's unbelievable what goes. And Billy Kyle, huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to Dobo. I mean, a one-man team. They're doing incredible things with one person, and your team is freaking unreal. You're doing crazy, amazing things. But from the outside, it was pull up YouTube, type in Pilot Institute, listen to Greg's amazing fancy voice, and learn some shit. But never realized what actually went into you making that stuff. I gotta say though, my favorite video that I think has ever come out was your fuck it video, your bloopers video. Because that puts it, dude. You guys release so much good content that no one realizes the downs. No one realizes how many fuck ups there are to everything.
Oh, yeah.
No one realizes what goes into that back end. I realized after being there and seeing not how many fuck ups there were, because let's be honest, while we were there, we had a great time, but the amount of effort that goes into. It's definitely not a Drones After Dark podcast, whereas Bobby's like, let's get on the internet and talk about shit. You guys are legitimately helping people and doing stuff, and hats off to you, because it is a lot of fucking work. And I never realized it until after being there, what you guys actually put into the content that you're making. So
it's fun.
Hats
that's
off
the reason
to you
we
for
do it. Yeah, well, appreciate that. It's the reason we do it is because we have fun. The feedback we get from people is what keeps me going. I know for sure. I wake up every day. I know I'm going to have a couple emails in my inbox of people saying thank you. I either just passed my test, I get my dream job, I got a job, which sometimes happens too. People said, I just a couple days ago, a guy reached out to me on LinkedIn, and he said, you know what? I just lost my job. I'll get zero money, and he said, I will pay for it as soon as I can. And I get emails like that on a regular basis, and I know the ones that are not good, but the ones that really mean it. And you can tell this guy needed help. I just gave him the courses and I said, I don't need anything. Just pass it forward, pay it forward to the next person once you get it. But once you get that feedback, I had a person that I did that to about a year ago, and they came back 6 months later and they said, this changed my life. And like, how can you not wake up in the morning and want to help more people and want to do more of these videos when you have somebody that says, this changed my life, this gave me a job, this gave me this, or allow me to get a pay raise and take care of my kids. And all day I can give you emails of people saying that, and it's just, I love it. It's just amazing.
Absolutely mind blowing. I've got chills. I mean, those are the stories that people don't hear about. They don't. They figure, oh, Greg got on the camera and made another video and everything was flawless, but they don't hear that side of stuff, and it really is truly inspiring. I can tell you, I had a rough life growing up. It was not easy by any means, and I know Bobby was in that same boat. And honestly, there were absolutely people that reached out and were willing to help and so on and so forth. That's why I got into public safety. That's why I got into the fire service and everything else. Because I'm passionate about helping people, and knowing that there are other people out there, doing stuff like that is hats off to you. I can't praise you enough for what you do.
Yeah,
Crazy.
well, it's important, paid forward. I mean, I was lucky enough when I was a kid. I didn't grow up in money at all. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad was in the military, military guy in the French Air Force. So. And I had an uncle that was a pilot, and he's the one who gave me the passion for flying. And he's the one who allowed me to come in the U.S., train in the U.S., get my degrees in the U.S. And without him, there would be nothing. So anytime that I can, I try to pay it forward. I try to help people with, getting that passion. And that's why I wake up every day and do this. I just love it.
Hell, it's
so
biblical.
What was the
biblical?
Yeah,
give a man a fish.
Absolutely.
Teach a man to fish. You're teaching, brother. Appreciate it.
Yep. So what made you start Pilot Institute? What was that key deciding factor? Was there one?
Oh, there were several, but I mean, I was in aviation since day one. When I came in the U.S. 20 years ago, I was 20 years old, came here with 2 suitcases and went to school, and then graduated. Just stayed in the industry as a flight instructor at first, and then kind of stayed with in management of the flight schools, and then. Probably early 2000, like 2004, 2006, I was working for a big university, and I was telling my boss, we need to get into drones because I could see UND, University of North Dakota, getting a big program for drones. And I knew it was the next thing. I knew it was going to be becoming a big thing. Now, at that time, it was mostly military drones, large drones. And my boss, now that I look back at it, kind of glad in the sense that he said no. But my boss was a former astronaut, and he F-16 pilot, and had 4 or 5 missions in space. As a matter of fact, if I dig around, I think I can find his book. It might be in my office. But he said no. We fly the aircraft from inside the aircraft. We don't fly drones. And eventually, I left the company in 2014. So this was almost a decade later. Left the company and then came in Arizona. And after 2 years of being in Arizona, I was like, if I'm not going to do this, I'm going to regret it. I need to get into the drone space and teach people because, that's my background. That's what I like to do. And started with doing the private pilot, then doing the drone stuff, and then, the rest is history. But I wanted to have my own company. Well, at first I was going to do that on the side, and then met with my my business partner, Johan, which you guys both know. And then we decided
He's another one that's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Behind the scene,
Brilliant.
never really talk about him because I know he doesn't really like to be in the spotlight. But, the success, as much as you see me in front of the camera, half the success, if not more, is because of the things that he does behind the camera. So behind the scenes. So it's been it was amazing. We met at the right time, kind of completely randomly, and decided that we were going to start this and offer something that was different. I don't think there was anything like what we created. I wanted to do things slightly differently. I wanted to teach to proficiency rather than teach to passing a test, and I think that's kind of taken us to the next level. So
and now what? After 2-3 years, you're now the largest drone school in the world?
Not just drone. Largest online educational institute.
I would say for drones, for sure, we can probably claim that we're the largest. I know a lot of people try to claim that, but we look at 200,000 students in the system. We've got 55,000 remote pilots. Of any of our competitors that claim numbers, we're definitely the largest at that level. I would even advance and say that we're probably one of the largest drone training company in the world at this stage. On the airplane side, I can't say that we're the biggest because we're not. We're still growing that side of things. There is a lot of work to be done there, but we've only been in business for 3.5 years, so we're still growing that side, and we're not stopping. We have a full list of courses that we're developing right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we met 1-2 years ago? How did we meet? We met somewhere in Texas, right? Jeff, you were talking about him. You were like, "Oh, you got to meet Greg."
So I don't know if Greg even remembers. I don't even know if Greg is the one that responded to my first comment that I ever posted to Pilot Institute, but it was not nice.
I was.
Be honest.
That was me.
Was that you?
That was me. Yeah, it was.
So,
man, at that time, I was the only one. I mean, we only had 3 employees at the time, so I spent most of my evenings on Facebook answering comments and talking to people. So, yeah, and nobody knew it, really. I mean, I answered a lot of the chat questions as well in the evening after hours. But, yeah, I remember you commented really well.
Let's dive into some after dark type shit here. So, in all seriousness, I heard that somebody had partnered with Pilot Institute, and I'm like, yep, fuck them. It's just another person trying to make money off of training people. Fuck them. I mean, legitimately, because let's be honest, out of 99% of the people that, Greg, what would you say legitimately, and it's not just because they're competition, but legitimately, people that offer drone training or companies that offer drone training, if you had to pull a number out of your ass, what percentage of them are bullshit?
Well, I'll tell you how many I think are legit. There's probably 3 or 4, I believe, of our competitors that have
out of how many people.
I can't even tell you how many people
thousands.
Are out there. There's a lot of people out there trying to teach this, but I believe that we have some good competition with people that have a decent product. Let's put it this way.
So my very first Facebook comment in response to a partnership that someone had made. That at the time, I didn't have a whole lot of faith in the people that they were partnering with. But I digress. Drone responders, if you want to start throwing names.
Oh, yeah, what a bunch of assholes.
But no, so at the time, I don't know how deep I want to dive. I'm going to get called out on this tomorrow. But Bobby, that GoFundMe page is better be spooling out.
Oh, my God.
But no, in all seriousness, they were taking other people's content and saying, oh, yeah, here you go, free stuff, and putting their name on it. Not cool. And then they partnered up with Pilot Institute. I was like, oh, great, here we go. And now here comes a training institute that's going to use all of these law enforcement officers that have signed up for drone responders just to pull in users. So I called them out. I'm like, great. We've got people that are stealing data or content from other places, and they're now partnering up with this training company, so God only knows where that data is. You know what I'm saying. But long story short, so I posted that, and it must have been Greg that responded, because apparently there were 3 people there at the time. And the response kind of caught me off guard, because I was like, maybe I should look into this company. And got to looking at some of the YouTube videos and some of the content that was put out. I was like, they're actually legitimately training people. And then I got talking to Greg, and Greg was like, no, we formed this partnership simply because we do want people to be doing the right things. And we do know that drone responders is reaching out to people and is doing some good stuff and so on and so forth. And I don't have any hatred for drone responders. At the time, there was some discrepancies of where stuff was coming from. But long story short, they are doing good for people.
Yes. They are.
And they do have a huge outreach. You know, they really do have a very big outreach, especially through AIRT and some other things. So they are doing a lot of good. And Greg partnered with them basically to expand the outreach and that kind of stuff. And since then, the free classes alone that Pilot Institute has offered to help people out, whether it be the free Skybrowse course that everybody can sign up for free.
Whoa, I heard it's really popular. Skybrowse.
Several hundred people in that, by the way.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not just that, the deep dives and not only do you have the 107 course that doesn't just teach people to pass a fucking test, that they actually learn what they need to know, but the free stuff, the deep dives, the how do you fly your drone safe, how do you register your stuff, the free sticker thing, fucking brilliant. Giving free stickers for registration. But just knowing that you're not just trying to sell a course, you're actually trying to help people and get the outreach out there and do the right thing. Once again, hats off.
Well, and I think it's a philosophy from that may be different from a lot of people that do business. And I think it comes from both myself and Johan. We're lined up on that, where you don't have to make $1 for everything that you do. You can help the community. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, yeah, it costs. Those stickers are not cheap. They're not
Hashtag
cheap.
freemium.
Yeah, well,
hashtag exactly. Green T-shots.
Understand that as well. So, why not support the community? Because, and I'll tell you, you want me to tell you why I think about all these things? Because long time ago here in Prescott, where I live, I'm a runner. I built a running community here. When I moved here 8 years ago, there was no running community, and there were no group runs. There was no one. There were a lot of runners running individually, but everybody was asking for, hey, do you know of a group run? Because runners like to run together, and so we built that. I built a group, and then met with another guy, and we built this community, and we have 800 runners now, and we have a pretty small town here, but. The way that it worked for me, and I mean, it wasn't business related or anything, but when you build that community, then as it grows stronger, then everybody wins, because we get more trails here to run. We get more, amenities for runners, because now you have a big population that's visible. It's the same with the drone industry. The more we grow this drone industry, the smarter the people are. You say, some people say, why do you have this free course on how to fly your drone? Because if you don't go crash your first drone, then you're going to buy another one, and everybody wins, because the drone manufacturers are going to sell a drone. The people are not going to be pissed off. They're not going to go crash into an airplane or a tree or your neighbor's window, and everybody wins, because the day that somebody flies a drone into an airplane, we're going to take a hit. All of us in this call, all the people watching, all the people listening, and everybody who's not, is going to take a hit, and that's in nobody's business, in nobody's interest. So why help people be proficient? That's why.
Yeah, and the hit is also people's livelihoods. That's their kids' college funds right there. That's their next paycheck, their mortgage payment right there. It could really affect people altogether.
Yep. You've got a lot of employees. I've got employees that rely on me to, provide for them and their family. So we got to do the right thing. We got to help the community.
Yep.
By buying more green T-shots.
Absolutely.
Hosting more parties.
Look at that. Billy Kyle joining the party. There's a bunch of people in the chat that I've just been ignoring because I'm so...
Oh, whoops.
So
I can't see the comments? Oh, man.
No, it's not comments in the stream here. Greg, we haven't figured out Riverside like you have. You should hear me and Bobby before the stream ever gets going. No, I'm talking about comments that are actually on... I'm talking about that are actually on Bobby's Facebook page. But like Billy Kyle's there talking, Adrian Doko. Oh my God, I can't. He's another one. He is willing to help anybody.
Yes, Adrian is awesome.
Holy shit, it's amazing. But yeah, he's saying exactly build the community, and that is exactly what you're doing, and absolutely freaking amazing. So I do feel bad about my initial. This is another fucking snake oil training company. There's a lot of them out there. And it's okay to have these feelings because we see a lot of that. We get these comments on Facebook quite a bit, and
and I don't read the comments nearly as much as I used to because I just don't have time. Like if I log into our Facebook account right now and I look at the activity alone, there's probably 200 pieces of activity every single day. I just don't have time to look at that. But I do look at the stuff that's reported. I do look at some of the comments every once in a while because I'm interested. And we do get these comments because you advertise on Facebook, you advertise on YouTube, not nearly as much, but people on Facebook get pretty nasty about seeing ads, mostly because they don't understand how Facebook works. If it wasn't for us advertisers, you wouldn't have Facebook, or you would have to pay for Facebook because that's how they make their money. But that's besides the point. But I always, and I taught the guys in the company and the girls that answered the comments, is we never make fun of them. We never engage. We always have a positive reply, and that's how you tell them, like you did. I didn't go after you and say, well, you're an asshole and F you because yeah, but that's not how I operate. And so instead, what we do is we explain the thing. And sometimes you think, why did you reply to this guy? Because we can say something good. We get a lot of comments that say people drone pilots are not pilots. We get that a lot on our ads because we use the term drone pilot. And as a pilot myself, as a man aircraft pilot myself, I said, well, to me, a pilot is anyone who's going to be excited about sharing their passion for aviation and is excited to see anyone flying anything, whether it's a remote control aircraft or anything else. And if you're offended by, a 5-letter word, then you probably shouldn't be calling yourself a pilot. You get, and you know what? I've had this in my head. I have a way to say it, and it's not abrasive. It's kind of making them realize that, oh shit. And sometimes every once in a while, maybe 10%, 15% of the time, I get somebody coming back and say, you know what? You're right. And I'm like, whoa, that's a major win right there. Somebody that said, making fun of other people for calling themselves whatever. And all of a sudden they change their mind. And I'm like, I win.
Yep.
Wow.
And you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you guys, I was waiting for a knockdown drag out, because let's be honest, I don't want to call myself a keyboard warrior, because in person I would tell you the exact same thing. Like, I don't hide behind a keyboard. I am who I am, and it is what it is. But I wasn't necessarily nice in my very first reaction to Pilot Institute, and the way that you handle it. Like, some of my best friends have been made through knockdown. Darren Goodbar is one of them. Darren Goodbar.
Shout out to Darren.
It was a knockdown drag out Facebook. He's not watching, but it was a knockdown drag out.
The what? What's the theory? You said you have a theory.
No, he said he's probably not watching.
Oh, I thought you said I have a theory. I thought you were going to explain why Jeff is the way he is. Because I can't.
That's
psychologists can't figure that shit out.
That's what. Come on, man.
But no, seriously, I have called out some people. I don't hold back. It's not that I'm hiding behind a keyboard. I'll talk to you the same way in person, so on and so forth. But I ask questions because I want to know. And I'm fairly abrasive when I ask some of those questions. So some of my best friends have been made through, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You really think that's correct? Conversations. You know exactly what I'm getting at. People will hide behind a keyboard all day long. I'm not that guy. I will ask you on Facebook because that's the only place I converse with you. But when we get to meet in person, I will also converse with you there. And that was one of those things where saw an opportunity, went into strike, and the way you handled it was brilliant. You were like, no, listen, this is why we did it, because we want to have more outreach, and here's the free stuff we're offering. It's not we are not stealing lists from people and selling our stuff. It's nothing like that. They know a lot of people, and we want to help those people do the right thing. And It was as simple as that. The way you handled it was, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, okay, so it's the first, I think it's first or second day I met Jeff in South Carolina. We were in Greenville shout out to Steve Baxley's South Carolina Public Safety UAS Summit. This was 2020, I think. And we met, we just chatted, had some drinks, and the next day Jeff saw the Brink lemur, and
God,
he wasn't a fan of it.
Are we going in the lemur?
We're going to the lemur, yeah. Bringing back the infamy.
For the record, I love everybody that works at Brink.
Here
we go. Burning more bridges.
And then,
Greg, have you played with a lemur?
The real thing or drone?
The Brink lemur. Oh well, for one, there's a meme on my Facebook page.
I have to say I have not flown the lemur, but I have seen it at many demos at various places.
He's detracting. He's detracting from the main topic.
That's cool.
Because the next day,
cool.
day 3, we go out. We've had like Cracker Barrel every single day, by the way. Either Chick-fil-A or Cracker Barrel. For some reason in South Carolina, that's all we had for 3 days straight.
It was right across from the hotel.
Theater for whatever reason. So we're going to Cracker Barrel for breakfast.
That's one meal a day.
He's like, hang on, I gotta do this because we were waiting in line. There was like a big line. It was like I don't know, Friday or Saturday or something for breakfast. He's like, hang on, I gotta like write this post. So he's like not talking, and I'm just hanging out with Russell, and we're just like chatting and whatever. And I just see like this paragraph post, like multi-paragraph, 7-paragraph essay about why the lemur is a piece of junk that he can make for $300 on Amazon.
That was the year.
Or AliExpress.
You guys. That's the year I met you guys in Texas. And I was like, oh shit, who's this guy? Like Jeff. And I was kind of afraid of meeting Jeff because I was like, man, I've seen him interact on Facebook, and I was like,
listen. So it's a passion. I went to that conference for a couple things. But when I went, I had 3 or 4 different agencies that I work with. You know, I fly with SWAT. I know what goes on. I know what, and not everywhere is the same. Look, Las Vegas, they've got their thing going on, and everybody else, anyways, all PD is different. Bunch of agencies were requesting that I look into the lemur. I'm hearing a bunch of feedback. Is that me or? I'm blaming Greg.
No, it's Greg.
Thanks, Greg. Way to fuck up a good thing. But anyways, so I was there to actually look at the lemur. We were. You're fine, Greg.
Oh my God, you're gonna bring that back? Oh boy.
Listen, my voice isn't as good as yours, so not everybody wants to hear it twice, but it's okay. So anyways, my whole point of being there was literally to look at the lemur. That was it. And after dissecting the lemur and taking photos and so on and so forth, I've built drones for a long time. I've flown aircraft for a long time, so on and so forth. And it was not at all where a drone needs to be for public safety. At all. Nowhere near. It was a $300 drone that you can 3D print and buy the parts off of Amazon, and ta-da, you have a lemur. And the raving about it was like, hell, they just raised $25 million in VC capital. $25 million in capital. Their team, absolute powerhouse. I do think they've progressed forward a lot, but I do think there's a way to go. How do I say it without having to dip into that? Well, no, I don't want to have to dip into that GoPro or that GoFundMe account.
It's too late. That's gone. That's negative number. You owe money now on that.
So in all seriousness, it was a 3D printed drone with an off-the-shelf flight controller with off-the-shelf parts. The camera was everything about it. I mean, you could have gone into any FPV group and they'd have built, it's an FPV drone. It is what it is. Sorry, hate me, love me. It is what it is. So talking to the people that work there, though, now I did write that post, and in all seriousness, I was actually really surprised at the feedback I got from that post. They were willing to fly me out to Las Vegas, show me the facility and so on and so forth. They really, really are trying to make a product that fits the bill. They're going out of their way to make a product that fits the bill. So the problem is the U.S. I'm trying to be PC, but not. So how the fuck do you source a video transmitter in the U.S. that's digital? You don't. There's not one. There's no way to do it. There's no way for someone to make something that's blue, that fits the bill for a blue UAS, a full United States made, manufactured, so on and so forth drone that has the range, the penetration, the cameras, the everything. You can't do it made out of US parts. You can't. Unless you're Alta. And Alta circumvented the whole blue thing because there's no fucking camera on the drone that they got approved for the blue list. Like, how do you get a drone on the blue list without having these issues that every company's having? The VTX, the camera, the place where all these Chinese parts are sourced, and so on and so forth. But how do you make a United States-made drone that does what it needs to do? Alta was able to get on the blue list by not putting a camera on their Alta. Problem solved. Sell the drone. It's a blue drone. Put a camera and VTX on it after. But there's companies like Brink that are trying to do the right thing, but they cannot source the parts. And honestly, there's not parts available to do what it is they're trying to do that are blue parts. Blue parts. And any company, there's companies on the blue list that, yeah, we're blue. Here you go. Here's some paperwork. We're blue. But the fact of the matter is, Brink really is trying to do it right. They're trying to make a blue drone, a United States 100% everything on the lists that needs to be. They're trying to do the right thing. The problem is they're DJI, your air units, all the stuff that actually works and gives you that penetration that you need, and the flight controller, it's all Chinese.
Yeah,
until
it's,
those parts
it's
are
hundreds of millions of dollars of R&D being spent to develop this. Like, that's all R&D. That's not sales. It's not marketing. It's not biz dev. It's all developers. Really smart people building cutting edge tech that's never existed in the past, and that's tough. I mean, from us, we spend a shitload of money on R&D, and we get, sometimes we get some good stuff out of it. A lot of time we don't. That's just the nature of it.
And I can honestly say right now, the Brink Lemur, or the Lemur S, is a brick shit house. It is a fucking tank that is made to just crash 18,000 times, that you can rebuild, and it is what it is. It's a tank that's made out of all parts that you can source easily. So have they made a tank? Yes. But as far as flying, I can take a Mavic Mini or a Nevada and fly it anywhere I want it. I could clear a house, so on and so forth. Can't break windows, but nah. But the Lemur is a tank. It's got that working for it.
Yeah, we should. Greg, you should get one of those and review one of them
for
the next YouTube video.
Mm-hmm. Deep dive a Lemur.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to do it, of course. It's usually I get a look when we do deep dives as to how many customers are going to get that thing, because it does, like we mentioned before, it takes a lot of work to create products, courses, all that stuff. So we got to think about that. But I'll be happy to review it. They've never asked for it, not that they need to, but I have plenty of guys here that have a ton of FPV experience that would love to fly one.
So, speaking of people that have asked you to review content, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but has Skydio reached out to you to review any of their stuff?
Nope, never.
Really? That's weird. It's almost like they want to be the kid in the corner playing with their own technology. Like, they don't reach out to anybody.
I've never said anything bad about Skydio. I've flown the Skydio at several places. There are things that I don't care for with it, but no, they've never reached out. Now there's a possibility too that they have an exclusive partnership with one of my competitors. I don't know. I'm making this up. I don't know that it's true or not, but it's possible, because I don't know that I've ever seen them really being featured anywhere else. I know Billy flies them. He has videos on Skydios. We've had some people in our videos asking us if we recommend Skydios. Usually we say, well, we don't have much experience with it, and we can mention a few things that I've done.
You take the PC way out. I get it.
I'm not gonna
I don't
tell
blame
someone
you at all.
I'm not going to tell someone it's not a good drone. Now there is some political stuff going on with Skydio that I don't like, and I'm not going to hide that if somebody's asking me in a private message. But I'm also not going to go out and make a piece out of it publicly, because I don't think it's my place to do it. But I think they have, let's talk about the tech. I mean, as far as the tech is concerned,
oh yeah,
the following is incredible. I know a lot of other companies are drilling over their following technology. As far as me personally, I like flying my drone. I like being in control of the drone. I like being creative. I think a lot of that tech is taking away that creativity from me, the user. So not my choice. I don't think I would personally buy one. Take the Pilot Institute hat out of it, and I don't know that I would buy one personally. But I can understand why some people are attracted to it, and I know there are limitations like the flying at night. We've mentioned this several times, and but yeah. That's kind of where I stand. But no, to answer your question, long answer, but no, they've never reached out to us.
So I know you said Billy flies one. I wonder, has Billy flied one commercially for anything, or is it all like follow me on my one wheel?
He does
have a one wheel, and he wears that thing out.
Yeah, he does. He does do the one wheel. I don't. I mean, I've never heard him. I've been around him quite a bit. We're good friends. I've never heard him mention that he does use it. He was here to record a course with us. He did not fly the Skydio, so I'm going to say probably not. But I think he might be watching. He'll tell us.
Oh,
going back to
he said, "Follow me in on my one wheel."
Oh wow! Shout out to Billy Kyle for watching us. So going back to the tech of drones, the way, to my understanding, I'm not a hardware guy, is that you're basically it's like a video game. You know, make your own character where you get to like min-max different stats on your drone. You've got like C2 transmission link, you got video transmission, you've got flight time, you've got camera, you got optical avoidance, and whatever it might be. And like you can only choose so much, right? If you max out on optical avoidance and follow me, then you're just gonna be lacking on a lot of stuff. There's only so much battery.
If you're using open source. So DJI at some point in their endeavor to conquer the world of drones signed a deal with the aliens, and that is what led to where DJI is at. Because listen, no. Let's be real here. I've got Wi-Fi in my house, right? I go in my backyard, I lose my Wi-Fi. It's 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. What was Lightbridge 12 years ago? Maybe not 12. But that Inspire 1?
Inspire 2 has Lightbridge.
The Inspire 1, though, I was flying that thing a mile away.
Yep.
How do you get a Wi-Fi? Essentially, it's 2.4 gigahertz. How do you get a fucking Wi-Fi signal to go a mile?
Yeah, you don't know if they're cooking your gonads in the process.
They probably
God
are.
damn it.
But we're talking alien technology.
No, I mean, let me tell you this. Okay, so we've tested the Avata in the studio where we are, and you've seen the studio, right? We have these walls, and Adrian just said again with the penetration, but yes, we're going to say penetration a couple more times.
Oh yes,
but
oh, wow.
So listen to this. We were in the main office where we have our desks, and we took somebody walking with the Avata going outside. We went through the walls there are double or triple drywall, so it went through 3 sets of drywall, industrial drywall, then again through the back wall, then again through a full brick wall, which is made, the main walls are made out of brick, thick brick, then another layer of bricks, and then we went behind a metal container, okay, the Connex. So we went behind 2 walls of the Connex. We still had 4 bars of reception out of 5. And then we went around the corner behind 2 more walls of brick, and then that's finally when we started to lose the signal. This is how ridiculous the O3, I think it's O3 or O3 Plus on the Avata. It's insane. All of us in the office just couldn't believe it.
That's a toy drone. That's a toy.
That's
Yeah.
essentially
It's
a toy drone.
classified as
Fucking
a toy
nuts.
drone. It's definitely not enterprise. DJI has made that clear. They will not
Yep.
release the SDK. It's a consumer drone.
Yep, the penetration is on an other level. That's where you're in right there. Yeah, it's
Alien.
mind blowing.
Alien technology.
Alien.
But you know, that's what Billy
penetration.
just said, actually. Billy responded to my question earlier. He said transmission is not good enough. It would be a different story if it was better. That was my concern when I flew the Skydio. I don't remember which one it was, the 2E maybe, whatever. The signal I was getting back on the controller was not fluent. And of course, we've flown a lot of DJI drones, which kind of ruins it for everybody else, I think. But it felt
let's
like
be honest,
I was dropping
that-
frames, you know.
Let's be honest, that's coming from Billy Kyle, who lost the fucking Avata 2 or 3 times in the middle of the desert. So I'm just throwing that out there.
He knows why he lost it though. I was there to recover. He lost it the day before, and we got to Vegas with my team, and Jason on my team was like, we gotta go find it. He was super excited about going, and Billy was like, all right, fine, we'll go back. So here we go. Billy, Ken was there. We flew the Mavic 3 with the zoom lens for like a full battery, which is a long time on that drone, you know that. We flew, and we kept looking at the footage that he had, because he had the last few seconds of the footage before it lost the signal completely. And sure enough, as I'm turning around, Jason is holding the drone like this and waving it, and he said, I found it. And that was a day later. They put the battery back in, because what happened, the battery had popped from the back, put the battery back in, thing flew right away. Just absolutely amazing.
There's a product out there. I don't remember who makes it. I can't remember for the life of me who makes the thing that actually holds the battery in the back of an Avata. But there's someone out there
or something. He must have been there when we did that, because that must have given him the idea of something.
Could it be Dono? Maybe Ken. Shout out to Ken Dono.
Shout out to the original Dobo.
The original Dobo. So there is a product that will keep. Now, great things are built into the Avata. You can flip it over turtle mode. If the battery was ejected, that would have worked.
Yes.
Right? The beepers, more stuff that's been out for 10 years now in every FPV drone. Great stuff.
Yep.
Would have worked if the battery was in. So, shout out to the original Dobo. Something that actually holds that battery in the Avata might be beneficial. Just saying. But, oh God. Like, that's why the U.S. drones suck. Not all of them. Like, let's be honest. We have come a lot of ways. No,
that came back
It's gonna
with
be
a
every single
vengeance.
episode. Every single episode is going to end up just being this topic.
Here comes my GoFundMe account. No, but
it's in the negative again. I just checked. You owe $20 to everyone that's listening.
And they don't suck. Like, let's be honest. There is some great freaking technology out there that U.S. companies are doing and integrating and so on and so forth. A lot of it is going towards DoD and military and so on and so that we can't buy as a consumer. But aside from that, the transmission stuff, man, if we can't use the technology that's available, somehow deem it safe for us to use security, so on and so forth, Lightbridge, OcuSync 3, hell, even a Caddx Vista. Like, is China really stealing our data from a Caddx Vista? That camera can still see 2 miles away when you fly out. So we are limiting ourselves because of politics and regulation and all of that stuff, not being able to use the stuff that's available in a U.S.-made drone, and that's why we're having the issues that we're having. It's not we can't do it, because we absolutely can. It's if the politicians say you can't use this, well, then you can't. And sadly, there's U.S. manufacturers that are actually paying politicians to say, no, China bad, you can't use that part. Even if it's something as simple as, a VTX where who cares if you ever connect it? It transmits your data back to your goggles.
Well, it's a tough position if you think about it. It's a tough position to be fighting against a giant like DJI that owns a large market share, that has millions in R&D, and has the production capabilities that they have, anyone who's coming into this is going to have to influx millions, if not billions of dollars in order to catch up, right? So it's, I love DJI, but I would not be mad if we had a replacement. The problem right now is that in order to compete,
No, not at all.
we have to resort, or I say we, but the industry and the competitors have to resort to techniques that are what we consider shady. I think a lot of people in the industry, because that's all they have left in order to compete. We have to think about what happens if we get into wartime with China, and we get into a position where we have all these drones that are in the hands of our armed forces, and we're at war with the people that give us the drones. It is not a good position to be in. So we do have to think about that in the future. But we can't just flip a switch and say tomorrow DJI is gone. We can't use them anymore, because we would be shooting ourselves in the foot. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we get to compete with DJI, to bring better products for everyone? Because everybody wins when we have competition with DJI. We get more options, we get better tech, we get more, competition. But how do we do that? I mean, it's a question that the industry needs to ask. How do we help U.S. manufacturers without doing shady practices and bringing better products to everyone, and bringing, drones back made in the U.S.?
That's the
Absolutely.
kicker. It's a really good question, because assume we had a U.S. version of DJI, U.S. owned, completely separate entity that started their company at the same exact time that DJI did.
Where our government's actually stealing all of our secrets. Yeah.
Same amount of VC funding as well. Well, their developers cost a fifth of how much our developers cost. So they would have 5 times the R&D capabilities. Not saying that 5 times, the people means 5 times the output, but it does mean that they can get much better developers at a fraction of the cost that we can,
of course,
altogether. So we'll never catch up with the same exact amount of money. We don't have the same amount of supply chain that we've relied on China for in the past 2-3 decades.
You need billions. You need to invest. Somebody would need to invest billions and be willing to lose.
And it's a loss leader, because we would never compete in price at all. It would be a loss leader. We'd always be losing money selling something like that. We'd never be able to compete in price.
Fact of the matter is, there are U.S. companies that have billions, that have drones that you, me, and Bobby are never going to buy. We will never be able to buy some of the stuff that's out there. And there is tech that they can circumvent some of the regulation and some of the... When it comes to war, the FCC does not give a fuck if you put an extra watt to a transmitter or an extra 2 watts to a transmitter. We're talking about war. And there are absolutely companies in the U.S. that are making great shit on the DoD side, the DOE, the military side. And honestly, those companies are not... Yeah,
they don't
absolutely.
have the volume capability. How can you replace the inventory tomorrow that is being used by law enforcement, firefighters?
You can't.
Anybody? You can't. And even
can't.
in the military, I would argue that you can't either. And the reason why we saw the Blue UAS version 1.0 fail, I mean, to me, it is somewhat of a failure. Is because of that. We selected companies that were unable to do it. We saw larger companies buy them because all of a sudden, there was potential for making a large amount of money. But then everybody all of a sudden realizes that this is difficult. This is a difficult business that is going to take a lot of investment and with not a lot of payback at first. And you were mentioning the DJI being backed by the Chinese government. I mean, every country does it. I mean, I grew up in a country that
except for the U.S. Except for the U.S.
The U.S. does the same thing, though. Think about it.
They do it politically.
Skydio has big paychecks from the government. Is it wrong? No, I don't think so. I think it's okay for the government to invest in certain technology. Like I said, I grew up in a country that mostly was a socialist country. If you think about France, and the train technology that they have was it's a French company it was a French backed company or even owned by the government, I should say, SNCF. That's the company that makes the bullet train, some of the fastest train in the world, and they were able to do it. You look at Airbus. Airbus is able to do what they do because they are backed to a certain extent by the government, and great tech comes out of this. I don't think we should be backing away from that as a U.S. company, but with the U.S. government doing this. But we also shouldn't be saying, well, DJI is a Chinese government company because they're being backed by the government. We do the same thing on our side, and we don't have a problem with it. So we shouldn't have a problem with them doing it. I'll shut up.
For sure. But talking about something you touched on there, the LE here versus, like, we're not driving tanks. Obviously, law enforcement, getting close to it, some of the Bearcats and stuff like that. But as far as being able to provide the military versus being able to provide law enforcement is a huge separation. And holding local law enforcement to the same, let's be honest, an M30T, if our local law enforcement flies an M30T tomorrow and China watches every bit of that footage, is it a big deal? No. If we were invaded tomorrow, that may be a big deal. But there's several companies out there that do provide UAS stuff. And let's be honest, war is a not even billion, trillion, gazillion. There's infinite amounts of dollars to be spent on war funding, which is why that's where the huge contracts lay. For that stuff, absolutely. If it has to be U.S. made, there will be a budget for it. If it is something of national security and defense, there will be a budget for it, no matter what it costs. You spend $2 million on a helicopter, $3 million, $10 million, $12 million. Look at the F-35s. Look at an MQ-9 Reaper. We're talking billions of dollars spent in military funding. Sure, don't buy an M30T.
So let me play the devil's advocate, though. I hear what you're saying about law enforcement and others, but what if DJI, like I said, the China decides that we're no longer friends. I don't think we're friends right now necessarily, but they decide they want to screw with us, and all of a sudden your law enforcement doesn't have access to a drone anymore because it's been bricked by DJI. So
the exact same thing that's happening in Ukraine. The exact same thing that's happening in Ukraine. GPS denial, interference, so on and so the whole gambit. But the fact of the matter is, our law enforcement loses those tools, so does the enemy. But then what steps up? The U.S. multi-billion-dollar drone industry. The billions of dollars that are going into drones that fire out of mortars or drones that are made to circumnavigate that stuff. Let's be honest, if it's a U.S. drone, please, it's not going to work in war. I'm sorry, you can send all the lemurs you want to Ukraine and they're not going to fly as soon as you deny them the radio signal that they use to fly. It doesn't matter if it's U.S. or if it's China. When war hits, 90% of that stuff is not going to work. Because the same stuff that we're going to use to prevent them from flying is going to prevent us from flying. Yeah. So it's a whole different... and let's be honest, I've learned a lot about what's going on in Ukraine. Everybody has. Anybody that's been following the whole drone space over there, stuff that we thought would work, hell, we use it all the time, doesn't work there. And it's not, whether it's Chinese made or US made or whatever it may be, the same CUAS stuff that's being used over there right now for war is going to work against U.S. drones. It's going to work against Chinese drones. And the fact of the matter is, most drones are going to be grounded despite where they're made. You're not going to be able to fly a Skydio in wartime.
Yeah, and it's going to be a minor inconvenience for public safety if China does lock down all of our drones. Okay, so what? You can't map out car crashes that quickly. You won't have tactical overwatch as well. Okay, well, you still have the tried and true methods that public safety has trained for since signing up, since Police Academy. So you still have the basics. It's not like you're going to be completely crippled altogether, like worst case scenario where all your drones are grounded. Still, most agencies right now don't have drones. So getting drones right now will not change the fact.
Take the blue UAS list, send every single one of them to Ukraine, and see how well they work. Every one of them. Those same exact tactics that are being used in Ukraine in wartime would be the same exact thing that's going to happen here. GPS denial, radio interference, all of that stuff. It doesn't matter where it's made. If you want to fuck with a drone, you're going to fuck with the drone. And it's not just fuck with a Chinese drone or mess with a U.S. drone. It's not that easy.
GPS denied is definitely one thing. There are drones that will fly in GPS denied, but frequency blocking, that's a whole different ballgame for sure.
For sure. But
like you said, you're shooting everybody in the foot, yourself included. You're
everybody.
You're downing the whole tech. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's an answer, and obviously we're not going to answer that question or that problem. But we do need to continue pushing for American-made drones that can replace or compete. And even if I don't even care about the political stuff, I'm not really a political person anyway. I don't enjoy any politician out there or any party for that matter. But even if you take the politics out of it and you think about just competition so that we get better products, competition is going to bring us better products. So just for that point alone, let's bring as many of these manufacturers as we can to compete with DJI. It will make Ben better. It will make us better. It will make the whole industry better. All politics aside.
Agreed. 100%.
Shout out to Pix4D.
What? Where?
Huh?
Who?
Huh?
You need competition too. You guys need competition. We need competition. We did things better because we had competition. So it's good for everyone. I would never want to be in an industry where where Pilot Institute is the only trainer out there. My business partner might disagree, but I
actually had
boring.
I had some great conversations about Pix4D at Airworks and ComUAV and so on and so forth. Someone came to me and they're like, "Hey, how are you always talking shit about Pix4D?" I'm like, "Hey, cite me one time when I talk shit about Pix4D. One.
Well,
Name
you just
one."
did.
No, I absolutely never have.
Nope.
Absolutely never once have. Fact of the matter is they make a great product. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. I mean, we have the boy genius here. So can we do stuff faster?
It's not me.
Yes. Can we do
It's
stuff?
team.
But the fact of the matter is, like, they were here long before we were. And they were helping law enforcement. They were helping, they're doing a good thing. I cannot say a bad thing about Pix4D.
I agree with that.
There's different tools for different jobs. Anyone that's ever said, "Oh, how you bash," but someone literally came to me and said, "Oh, why are you talking shit about Pix4D all the time?" I'm like, when? When have I ever said anything bad about it? Never. Like, I am all for the drone space. Yes, I work for Skybrowse, and yeah, we do shit a lot faster and a lot better. But that's beside the point. Like, I've never said a bad thing about Pix4D or, well, maybe I have about Drone Deploy. I don't know. But I digress. Like, it's not about that. It's about helping and getting shit done. And
I agree. I mean, I've done it.
Oh, Bobby has
shit about
talked some
Pix4D,
shit about Pix4D.
But I don't do it anymore. It's not what I do altogether. It's the early days of the drone industry.
Dude,
you live
shout
and you
out
learn.
to Tom Owen. Like, there's some big brains at Pix. Tom Owen, dude, I've had more drinks with him. Love that guy. But yeah, no, they're not doing anything bad for the industry. You can't talk bad about them. It's not like somebody else that's paying politicians, hundreds of millions of dollars to kill the industry. It's not like that.
No. And at the end of the day, like, we'll be around whether or not, DJI or Autel or all the Chinese drones will be around. The goal is just we want this drone industry to keep growing. It's not by any selfish matter. Just like you said, you enjoy watching people comment on your videos or send you an email saying that what you've done has changed their lives. And the same goes with us, where we want, and we have a lot of emails from law enforcement. We actually sent out a survey saying, like, how do you enjoy Skybrowse? And looking at the responses where people say that this is a game changer for them, and it's completely changed the way that they live their lives, they do their work, the way they feel. I mean, it's something that I, at least, have never expected, and I'm really glad that it happens right now.
Yep. I never expected to take another full-time job. I figured I'd be doing some of the contract work out there pays fairly well, especially on the DoD side but
Full-time.
When Bobby called me and said, "Hey man, how do you feel about working for Skybrowse?" I was like, "Oh shit. What a conundrum, right?" Like, He's a boy genius. I love
All right,
Bobby
stop.
O. Yang.
All right. That's
Dude,
enough with boy
listen,
genius.
I am,
man.
I am
Gotta stop
Bobby
doing
O's.
that.
I am Bobby O's lackey for a reason. Listen.
So speaking
doing
of
good space. Go ahead.
Bobby, how do you say your last name?
Oh Yang.
Okay, so Jeff is saying it wrong.
O Yang. What? My Tennessee
he said
accent? O Yang.
It's Oh Yang.
O Yang?
No, yeah,
I like
I've
it
heard a
better
lot
when
of people
Bobby
say
says-
like "Ow Yang" or like "Oh Yang."
Yang.
Oh, Yang.
Yang.
I say it more like ooh,
yeah.
yeah. I say ooh, but that's the French.
Oh
style.
yeah. It's it's I'm like Lewis, I don't correct people.
Oh.
By the way, if anyone's watching, Louis Figueiredo's proper pronunciation of his first name is Louis, not Luis.
The drone detective. It's Lewis. Damn it.
I
Lewis.
think
Lewis.
I made that mistake. I apologize.
And he'll
Louis.
never correct you for it because he enjoys watching people.
He will also never forgive you
wrong.
for it, so there's that.
Well, I'm
Yep,
screwed.
he hates you.
Oh
shit.
man. I love some of these comments though on the Facebook feed. Like, oh yeah, there's US companies that make drones that fly in GPS denied environments. I've built 4-inch and 5-inch quads that also fly in GPS denied environments, but they take a lot more skill to fly.
Shout out to Joe Ladner. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Yeah. No, let's be honest. There are. I'm not bashing U.S. by any means. I've got a U.S. flag with Skybrowse back there. I want to see the U.S. industry succeed, but
That's a Rubik's
between
Cube.
where with the condom on it. Yeah, with the condom on it.
Oh man,
How do you think we got our logo?
So sexual.
We literally took a Rubik's Cube, threw a condom, and that's it. Let's use that.
We've had a discussion many times.
I want a 3D model of Rubik's Cube with a condom on it now and wonder how it turns out. But let's be honest, the U.S. UAS industry has a long way to go. And regulation and politics are not helping it along at all.
But
At all.
But you know what? I don't think. If you look at the history of aviation in this country, that's how it's grown. That's how it's worked. I don't think the U.S. industry is any different, except we are at week one of where the whole aviation industry is at year 100, and so we're babies, and we're gonna laugh at this. We're gonna laugh at all this tech when we talk again about this in 10 years. We're gonna laugh at the tech and how bad it was 10 years ago, how weird the regulation was 10 years ago, and how little we could do with drones. We think right now it's the epitome of it, and we can do so many things. Wait 10 more years, it's going to be amazing. So I always said when I was younger, before drones were around, I always said I wish I was born in the era of the pioneers of aviation, the people I would just get in a plane and go fly places without instruments, without anything. Because I think I would have been. I hope maybe I'm making this up in my head, but I hope I would have been one of those people that did that. But now we can do this here. We have an industry where we can be pioneers, and I think all of us are going to look back and think about how this industry was. It's cool. I'm excited about it. That's fun.
And on that note, cheers. Thank you so much, Greg, for coming
I'm
on
out.
to Drones After Dark.
I'm
Greg,
out.
you're going to have to learn to double fist or pour thicker or something, because...
Yeah, seriously. Have some like
Thursday, I
green tea
usually
shots
don't
lined
drink on
up.
Thursday.
Oh, man.
Man.
Mission accomplished.
But it's
See you next
tomorrow's
week.
a holiday, so
Hey, if nothing else was accomplished today, we got Greg to drink on a Thursday.
I do one drink on Friday. That's usually all I do these days.
Oh,
But
I was thinking it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
it takes Thursday off. Friday night, I usually come home and chill after the kiddos go to bed, and I get my drink.
Damn. Well, I guess conferences are your vacation time then. That's when we get
Indeed.
absolutely shit-faced.
I don't get
I
shit faced.
don't tell my wife that. I do not get shit-faced at conferences.
No, never. No,
I don't
we have
remember last
one
time I
green
got
tea
shit-faced.
shot.
I'm going to have to add a disclaimer to this now saying she's not allowed to watch this podcast. Thanks, Bobby.
Yep, definitely not.
We definitely have fun at conferences, and I look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
I miss a bunch of people that have commented on your chats already. Yeah, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Well,
Greg, we love you, brother.
thanks
Appreciate
for coming
you
on.
coming on and hanging out.
Yeah, you got it. Anytime.
Chat viewers, appreciate y'all for viewing our podcast. We do it
By the way,
just for you.
these are new hats. You guys haven't seen those yet.
I'll shoot you my address if you don't already
The
have
merch-
it. I'm just saying.
The merch store is going live tomorrow morning.
So I started a theme. I'm wearing a new hat every podcast we do. So just saying.
Is that
Ooh.
what is that logo?
Unmanned underground.
That-
Randall.
That's what
Randall
I thought it
Warness.
was. Yeah, Randall. Yeah, I get to meet Randall in person at Airworks. Get a good talk. He's a
Dude,
good guy.
I love Randall. Good dude,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, great time. So, where can we get the hat? Where can we find that hat?
Well, I can't. Well, maybe I can tell you. The
Where can we
merch store
buy
is
it?
live already, but we haven't revealed the location. But it's merch.pilotinstitute.com. So if you go there,
You
right
heard
now,
it here first.
you'll be the first. It's going live tomorrow morning in our news update video. We have a funny video where. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. You got to watch it.
Don't spoil
If you
it.
guys watch the weekly news update, you'll see something funny. It's not me cursing like the behind the
Fucking
scenes.
love that
I
video.
watch your videos when they premiere. Like I have a timer. Like my YouTube alarm goes off, and I was like, oh, click it, and I watch it.
Oh, really?
as
Well,
it
you'll like that
premieres.
one.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clever. My team is much more clever than I am, so they had a little script written for me and some fun stuff. So
Love it.
Cool.
Absolutely love it.
Check it out. Subscribe to Pilot Institute. Pay the money. Buy their courses. Check out their free Skybrowse course, and check out
Free.
their merch.
free.
Hey, Greg,
The merch is
appreciate you.
free.
Same
Thanks.
here, gentlemen. We should do that more often.
All right, guys.
Every week.
Thanks for
We'll be here.
viewing. We'll see you. Do I have any exit music? Do I have any exit music?
Oh,
Ooh,
get something good.
I just have the wow. That's about it. That's the
Oh,
only
we had
sound
great
effect
intro
I have.
music.
I know. Where's the-
Play the
where's the exit music?
Death March or
Where's the
something.
exit?
Do, do,
My God.
do.
All right.
Oh, man.
We're ending it. It's ending.
3,
Goodbye.
2.
2,
One.
1, and we're done.